Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. China counters Trump, imposes 15% tariff on coal, gas imports from US. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Trump to discuss Gaza ceasefire in White House amid regional tensions. Eastern Congo Rebel Alliance declares unilateral ceasefire for humanitarian reasons. China on Tuesday said it will impose retaliatory tariffs on imports from the US after Washington slapped 10% levies on Chinese goods. The countermeasures include a 15% tax on coal and liquefied natural gas imports from the US. Crude oil, agricultural machinery, pickup trucks and large engine cars will face a 10% tariff. The move comes after US announced 10% levies on Chinese imports, which China's Commerce Ministry said seriously violates World Trade Organization rules. The new Chinese tariff will come into force next Monday. The US president delayed the start of tariffs on Mexico and Canada for a month on Monday after the US neighbors struck last-minute deals to tighten border measures against the flow of migrants and the drug fentanyl. Trump, in a social media post, has confirmed that the US is halting its plan to impose tariffs on Canadian imports in exchange for Canada doing more to prevent illegal drugs from entering the US. Mexico has also reached a similar understanding with the US. Trump said the talks on final deals would continue with both the countries. While Canada will appoint a fentanyl czar, Mexico will send 10,000 troops to the border as part of the deal with Trump.
We reached an agreement. It is in the agreement we published to place more National Guard in the northern border in order to protect the border and prevent drug trafficking, especially fentanyl trafficking from Mexico to the US.
The pause allows time for negotiations on drug smuggling and illegal immigration. Both Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said that they had agreed to bolster border enforcement efforts in response to Trump's demand to crack down on immigration and drug smuggling. That would pause 25% tariffs due to take effect on Tuesday for 30 days. Meanwhile, on the immigration front, US security forces stand guard near the border wall with Mexico as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth visits the city. Hegseth was joined by the White House border czar, Tom Homan, and both officials met with troops charged with the objective of achieving operational control of the border. The Pentagon chief's first trip to the southern border comes as Trump declared a national emergency under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act on Saturday, citing the extraordinary threat from fentanyl and illegal immigration. On its part, Mexico has agreed to reinforce its northern border with 10,000 National Guard members to stem the flow of illegal migration and drugs.
Because of President Trump's deft ability to negotiate, we now have 10,000 Mexican troops that are going to be patrolling on the other side of the border, so there's cooperation with Mexico as well. Over time, when we're able to build the border wall as well as the President has said he will do and will do, operational control looks different than just constant manpower, but this is the phase that we're in right now.
Besides, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has reached a migration deal with El Salvador, agreeing to accept migrants of any nationality who are deported from the US and keep them in its jails. There is virtually no precedent in contemporary times for a democratic country to send its own citizens to foreign jails, but Rubio said President Bukele, who has launched a sweeping crackdown on crime that has won him popularity at home, offered to do just that in their meeting earlier in the day. Rubio spelled out 3 decisions taken during the meeting. Let's listen in.
Transformation of a society and of a nation that not too long ago faced great insecurity. But we've seen the transformation under the leadership of this administration here and President Bukele.
US Secretary of U.S. State Secretary Marco Rubio visited Panama amid Trump's takeover plans as U.S. pressure mounts on the immigration policy. Rubio watched as 43 illegal immigrants were deported to Colombia, highlighting Trump's aggressive border stance. Panama has been more cooperative, allowing third country deportees to land and sending migrants back early. Here's a report.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio brought a warning to Panamanian leader Jose Raul Mulino. Rubio has demanded that Panama make immediate changes to what he calls the influence and control of China over the Panama Canal. Rubio said Panama must act or the U.S. would take necessary measures to protect its rights under a treaty between the two countries. Rubio, traveling to the Central American country and touring the Panama Canal on his first foreign trip as top U.S. diplomat, held face-to-face talks with Mulino. He told Mulino that China's presence in the canal area may violate a treaty that led the United States to turn the waterway over to Panama in 1999.
I think it was a good visit. Obviously, there's still more work to be done there, but I think it was a very good visit, and it was a worthwhile visit and a very respectful, and it was one that I think is going to achieve potentially really good things that assuage concerns we have. But time will tell. We'll see. But I felt good about it.
Panama also reaffirmed its sovereignty over the Panama Canal. Mulino asserting that his country's sovereignty over the canal is not up for discussion.
There is no doubt that the canal is operated by our country, and it will continue to be so. I do not think there has been a discrepancy in that. The President Trump has said his opinion about the Chinese presence, which will be clarified at the appropriate time in the technical instances of the canal. The ports do raise doubts, but as I said, let's wait for the audit of the comptroller, and we will see how affected or not is the national interest in function of that concession.
President Trump said on Monday that he was unhappy with the situation in the Panama Canal. He added that he's scheduled to speak with Panamanian officials on the 7th of February.
We either want it back, or we're going to get something very strong, or we're going to take it back. And China will be dealt with. And we didn't give that to China, we gave it to Panama. We shouldn't have given it to Panama, but Panama, as you know, has violated the agreement, totally violated the agreement. So that's in the process right now, but they did have a very good meeting with the head of Panama.
Rubio's trip to El Salvador, Costa Rica, Guatemala and Dominican Republic comes amid a freeze in U.S. foreign assistance. The State Department said that Rubio had approved waivers for certain critical programs in countries he's visiting. Bureau Report, DD India.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump will discuss the future of the Gaza ceasefire on Tuesday as the Israeli Prime Minister becomes the first foreign leader to visit the White House since the US President's return to power. Netanyahu is in Washington for talks with the Trump administration on a second, longer-term phase of Israel's truce with Hamas, which has not yet been finalized. However, Trump has expressed caution, stating that there are no guarantees that the fragile ceasefire will hold. Trump, who claims credit for the brokering of the ceasefire deal, says negotiations with Israel and other West Asian countries are processing. Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, who met Netanyahu on Monday over terms for the second phase of the Gaza truce, said, however, that he was certainly hopeful that the truce would stick. Hamas officials have said that they were ready to begin talks on the details of the second phase, which is expected to cover the release of the remaining captives and could lead to a more permanent end to the war. Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol arrived at the Constitutional Court on Tuesday for his impeachment trial in Seoul. The trial, which began on December 27th, is reviewing a motion accusing Yoon of violating his constitutional duties by imposing martial law without justifiable grounds. South Korea's opposition-led parliament impeached Yoon on December 14th, making him the second conservative president to face impeachment in the country. During a previous hearing, Yoon and his legal team argued that he never intended to fully impose martial law but used the measure as a warning to resolve a political deadlock. The Constitutional Court will decide whether to remove him from office or reinstate his presidential powers. In eastern Congo, a fragile hope emerges with the announcement of ceasefire amid months of deadly fighting between rebel groups and government forces. But the situation remains volatile, with both civilian casualties and tensions rising. A detailed report ahead.
Rebel alliance operating in eastern Congo, known as Congo River Alliance, including the M23 rebel group, has declared a ceasefire. It is set to begin on February 4th. The announcement came just as the region faces an escalating humanitarian crisis. As the ceasefire is declared, Goma, a city in the heart of the conflict zone, is reeling from the loss of life. Morgues are overflowing and the city's hospitals are struggling to keep up with the surge in casualties.
I fled the rebel bombardments because they had killed many people. I lived for 1 year in Zulu as a displaced person, but there too, the recent war made me flee to Kimashini. But there too, we fled after being attacked by looters who took everything from us until we arrived here at this school. We sleep on the ground with nothing.
Government forces cut off the internet and that made it very difficult to communicate. The water supply too was cut. It was so difficult to find out food like vegetables and flour. We just remained in our houses desperately.
The Congo government has accused Rwanda of backing the M23 rebels, allegations Rwanda denies. Congo's government has called for tougher measures to force Rwanda into diplomatic talks. In a bid to bring Rwanda to the negotiating table, Congo is pushing for international sanctions. The government hopes that increasing economic pressure will force Rwanda to hold its support for rebel groups, paving the way for a lasting peace.
The world or the international community cannot not react on what Rwanda is doing in the eastern part of the DRC. They've been killing peacekeeper from United Nations. They killed soldier from SADC. They are killing population, bombing hospital, etc. And all this was happening during the day. How come the international community cannot take a strong position, a strong decision, not only to condemn, but to stop what Rwanda is doing?
The United Nations, the European Union, and the United States have strongly condemned Rwanda's involvement in the conflict, calling for an immediate de-escalation and renewed peace efforts. Despite repeated international condemnation, tensions between the two nations remain high. As the region continues to remain on edge, the question remains, will this ceasefire hold or will the bloodshed return to upend the lives forever? For the people of eastern Congo, the hope for peace seems as fragile as the ceasefire. With Aarti Rana, Anil Thomas, DD India.
Sri Lanka is celebrating its 77th Independence Day on Tuesday with a renewed vision towards national revival. The official celebrations are being held at Independence Square in Colombo, where over 1,000 police officers have been deployed for security purposes. The program features a military parade, cultural performances, followed by a gun salute at Galle Face Green by the Sri Lankan Navy. Also, the country got its independence from the British rule in the year 1948. And now we turn to the International Film Festival, Rotterdam, where India Day took center stage. Organized by the Indian Embassy, the special networking event brought together filmmakers, producers and industry professionals to celebrate India's rich cinematic heritage and explore new collaborations. From thought-provoking discussions to exciting future projects, India Day highlighted the growing connection between Indian and international cinema. Here's a report from Mark Limburg.
We are here at the International Film Festival in Rotterdam, where today is all about India's rich and diverse cinema. Today is India Day. From groundbreaking indie films to bold new voices in Bollywood, India Day is shining a spotlight on one of the world's most vibrant film industries, with special screenings, filmmaker Q&As and a celebration of Indian storytelling. The energy here is electric. The International Film Festival here in Rotterdam always has had a special relationship with India and Indian cinema. But what makes this year extra special?
This year we have a very wonderful example of a film that we've supported from the very beginning, called All We Imagine Is Light by Payal Kapadia, which won the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival, was the first Indian film in competition for 30 years. So this is a kind of a really fantastic example of how IFFR has an impact for an Indian filmmaker and a wonderful Indian film.
The Indian Embassy hosted this special event here at the festival today. The Indian ambassador to the Netherlands, Mr. Kumar Tuhin, explains why.
India is the largest film producing country in the world, and the IFFR is a very important and very reputed platform. Therefore, we wanted to be present here not only to showcase our strength, but also to be able to invite collaboration from the people and from the industry who are present here. We have invited the industry to join us in this WAVES event that is happening in India in the last week of April, first week of May, where this will be the first major world audio-visual and entertainment summit that is taking place in India. Also to be able to partner with Indian industry and to be able to collaborate with us.
About Indian filmmakers themselves, do they think they get the exposure they deserve?
Generally, there is a lot of interest in Indian cinema at film festivals, and it has been a great year for India because Indian films have been traveling to many international film festivals. So yes, we are taken seriously at international film festivals, also because we have great platforms like Film Bazaar in India, which is our own film market, and that helps projects in the journey as well.
Mark Limburg reporting for DD India in Rotterdam, the Netherlands.
You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, discussion on President's address continues in both houses of Indian Parliament. India's Home Minister Amit Shah to chair a review meeting on the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Bhutan's King Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk to take a holy dip at Triveni Sangam in Prayagraj. Welcome back. After the break, you're watching DD India Live. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will respond to the motion of thanks in the Lok Sabha or the lower house of parliament today. He will reply in the Rajya Sabha, that is the upper house, on February 6th. The ongoing budget session continues to witness intense debates and sharp exchanges between the government and the opposition over Kumbh Mela mishap and various other issues. Today, on the fourth day of the session, the debate on the motion of thanks is listed for post-0 hour and question hour, while after the debate concludes, Prime Minister Modi will give a reply. India's Home Minister Amit Shah will chair a review meeting on the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday. The Home Minister is expected to discuss the status of zero-tolerance policy against terrorism and the ongoing operations against terrorists. During the last review meeting held on December 19th last year, Amit Shah directed all security agencies to continue working in a coordinated manner to eliminate terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. The government has maintained that there is a significant decline in terrorist incidents, infiltration and recruitment of youth in terrorist organizations. Security forces last week launched a massive operation in Jammu and Kashmir, mostly in the higher reaches and forest areas along the line of control, to locate and eliminate the terrorists who carried out multiple attacks in different districts last year. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed the second ICC Bruegel Annual Seminar in New Delhi on Tuesday. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. S. Jaishankar said that stronger India-EU relationship can be a stabilizing factor.
We clearly have common interests and shared values. There may be some differences on priorities and specifics, but what binds us is a sentiment much stronger. At the end of the day, we are political democracies, pluralistic societies, and market economies. As we each take stock of the changes underway, it is likely that our meeting points will increase. Moreover, in a world that promises to be so volatile and so uncertain, a stronger India-EU relationship can be an important stabilizing factor.
External Affairs Minister further reiterated that the game-changing nature of India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor needs to be appreciated.
One particular initiative that I believe merits your attention is the IMEC, the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor. It has admittedly been slowed by the developments in the Middle East from October 2023. However, some initial steps have indeed commenced between India and Gulf nations. The game-changing nature of this enterprise needs to be appreciated, not just between India and Europe as its two ends. Bear in mind that we in India are simultaneously seeking to build land connectivity eastwards through Southeast Asia. Put together, this is actually an Atlantic to Pacific endeavor.
And now we get to the latest from Mahakumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. The third and the last Amrit Snan of the ongoing Mahakumbh Mela 2025 concluded on Monday with more than 12.5 million devotees taking a holy dip on the occasion of Basant Panchami. Tight security measures were in place, ensuring a safe and orderly experience for all. According to officials, an extensive police and security arrangement was put in place across the Mahakumbh fair area to ensure smooth and secure bathing experience for devotees, saints, Mahatmas and Kalpvasis. Bhutanese King Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk took a holy dip at Triveni Sangam in North Indian city of Prayagraj. The visiting dignitary also offered prayers at the sacred site. Prominent personalities from various fields have also taken the holy dip at the Sangam. The event has already attracted millions of devotees from across the country and around the world. The Mahakumbh 2025, which commenced on January 13th, will continue until February 26th. All right, to get more on this, we will have a report coming in from our correspondent Siddharth Bharadwaj from Prayagraj.
It was third and final Amrit Snan of the Mahakumbh 2025, the largest religious gathering on the planet, where about 2.33 crore people took dip in the Triveni Sangam, the confluence of river Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. And today as well, even if the Amrit Snan has ended, the tourists and pilgrims and devotees are thronging in the Kumbh Mela 2025 in Prayagraj in large numbers to take holy dip. There are elaborate security measures that have been put in place, including 7-layer security system and AI integrated CCTV cameras to monitor every place, every corner of the Kumbh Mela premises. These CCTV cameras are integrated with the AI technology that also has database, and any suspicious activity can be easily tracked and further action could be taken. When we had a word with people, they say that this is the most amazing moment in their life because of the alignment which has come after 144 years and also known as Purn Mahakumbh. People are saying that no matter how much they have to walk, but they would take dip in the Triveni Sangam, which is again the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. People here are just coming not from the parts of country, but also the international devotees and pilgrims are also coming, and they are saying that when they take dip in the Triveni Sangam, it feels like they have become immortal and the most precious moment of their life. In fact, the interesting part is this, that students from the renowned universities from all across the world, including Oxford and Harvard, are doing research on the fact that how such a large gathering is, being organized in such a smooth line manner. So all in all, the security arrangements are elaborate to make sure that these devotees who are coming here in Prayagraj, in Mahakumbh 2025, their journey remains peaceful, safe and secure. With camera person Mohan Mukesh Sharma, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
And now we turn focus to sports updates. The National Games 2025 are underway in full swing in the Indian state of Uttarakhand. Karnataka currently leads the medal tally with 22 gold medals, along with 10 silvers and 10 bronze medals. Services holds the second spot with 19 golds, 10 silvers and 9 bronze medals. Maharashtra and Manipur are also in their strong contention. Host state Uttarakhand is ranked 19th, having won 17 medals. So far, athletes from 24 teams have claimed at least one gold medal in the competition. Indian chess grandmaster R. Pragananda arrived at Chennai airport on Tuesday morning after winning the Tata Steel Masters 2025 in Netherlands. Pragananda held the fort against reigning world champion D. Gukesh for a come-from-behind win in the tie-breaks to claim the title. Pragananda showed perfect technique to take the full point and his maiden victory at the Masters. For Gukesh, this was the second year running when he tied for the first position and lost the tiebreaker. That's it in this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.